It's the Week 4 edition of the NEC Football Geico Google Hangout. Hello, everyone. I'm Ralph Ventre here at NEC headquarters in Somerset, New Jersey. In just a few moments, I'll be joined by the #1 rusher in the Division I Football Championship Subdivision. Yes, St. Francis running back Khairi Dickson is standing by in Loretto. Two quick items before we move on with our hangout and speak with our featured guest, Khairi Dickson. First, I want to give a shout out to Bryant Football for cracking the FCS top 25 in the coaches poll. Bryant with 2 big wins this year over Stony Brook and then Maine. They're tied for 25th in the coaches poll. They're also receiving votes in the Sports Network poll. Both Bryant and Sacred Heart are 3-0, and both are receiving votes in both top 25 polls. So that's just a brief NEC football update, some of your top headlines, as we are now in Week 4. And our Week 4 featured guest, well, he happens to be the #1 rusher in the Football Championship Subdivision, Khairi Dickson. And today's NEC Google Hangout with Khairi is brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com. And without further ado, let's bring him in, Khairi Dickson. Khairi, three weeks have gone by. 25% of the season is in the books, and you have the most rushing yards in the country. Is this something that you envisioned back in training camp, being in this position a quarter of the way through the season?
I feel like I visioned this very early. I had visions of this back in the summer, working out, coming into camp. My mindset was I'm going to do whatever to help this team win, whatever, showing my best ability. So I just go out there every game with the same mindset, try to put on what I can do, help the team win. If that's leading the nation in rushing, that means I'm doing something good.
Now, you're a junior at St. Francis. We all know that Kyle Harbridge, the program's all-time leading rusher, graduated this past May, and that pretty much left you as the starter in his absence. You had some time as a freshman before you had an injury. You played in all 11 games last year in a secondary role. Now that Kyle is gone, you're the #1 guy. And my question is to you, did you feel any pressure coming into this season that you would have to fill the shoes of Kyle Harbridge, an all-time great in the Northeast Conference?
I can honestly say it's a little pressure, but not really a lot, because Kyle has taught me a lot, on and off the field. He showed me and, guided me throughout what he experienced, and whatever he has taught me, I pick that up and try to use that with my advantage of what I already know and just take it and use it on football field.
You actually touched on my next question there. How did you benefit from being a teammate of Kyle Harbridge and being in the same backfield as he was for the past 2 years? You mentioned that he taught you some things. What did he teach you? Was it technique? Was it how to see the field? Was it how to hit a hole? What did he teach you in terms of on the football field and competing?
He just told go out there, play to your hardest ability, make sure you work hard. A lot of it has to do with being patient. That's the #1 thing as a running back. Let the host develop. Trust your linemen, trust the play calls, and just go out there. Just make sure you feel comfortable with the offense. And that's what I have to do this year.
Yeah, definitely watching the holes develop and finding that seam was something Kyle did well, and obviously you're doing it quite well this season. 608 rush yards through the first 3 games. You're the only back in FCS who is averaging more than 200 rush yards per game. And, of course, a lot of that has to do with your individual performance, but also we need to talk about this offensive line, the guys who are playing in front of you. And I'll start off this segment by asking you how has or what has made St. Francis so successful at running the football over the past few years. I mean, in 2011, second in the NEC. In 2012, the top-ranked rushing attack in the NEC. Last year, third in the NEC in rushing. What makes the Red Flash so successful at running the football? And I assume it has a lot to do with this offensive line.
Yeah, our offensive line has been playing great throughout these 3 games. I commend them. I thank them every game. That without them, I wouldn't be able to do what I'll be able to do now. And my saying always is linemen lead the way. So, for the 3 past years, leading the NEC or being a great running team, I have to say we believe in what we do. So we say if we believe we're gonna run, we're gonna run. And that just come down to how we feel, and you just go out there and get after it.
So is running the football sort of an attitude that the program has? I know that Coach Valerio, a former NFL offensive lineman, likes to play power football, smash mouth football, the power offense, but is running the ball, is that an attitude that the team has and that the line has, and is that what has helped with the success?
Yeah, I believe that's a lot to do with our success. We just, we believe in what we know we can do, and we believe running the football controls the game, and that's what we try to do, control the game early, and we're going to hit you right in the mouth.
Now, in terms of the linemen, more specifically, we know some of the names. Thurston Keno's been around for a while. He's garnered all league honors. Colin Gadula. Anyone individual on that line who you personally like running behind? Or obviously, I assume you trust all 5 of those guys, but do you have a favorite up there in the trenches?
There's no favorite. I love all 5 of my linemen, and I love the backups too, because they do a great job at what they do, to go out there every game, give they all, to help us win games, and that I commend all of them.
Let's talk a little bit about the team. 1 and 2, obviously the 2 losses came at the hands of some top-tier opponents. You opened the season at Fordham. You were just down at James Madison. I found it interesting that both on the road at Fordham and on the road at James Madison, you went over the 200-yard mark in both games against primetime teams. Unfortunately, you didn't come away with the victories, but I'm sure you guys are looking ahead now to Youngstown State this Saturday. The schedule doesn't get any easier because the Youngstown State Penguins are in the top 25. What do you know about Youngstown State, and what kind of challenges will the offense have in front of them come Saturday?
Well, after watching a lot of film on them, I see that they're an aggressive team, but they can't be beat. I give them all credit, because they're a ranked team. They do what they do great, but I feel like we can go out there and compete with them, and we can go out there and win.
And what exactly does the Red Flash have to do to pull off the upset? What's the game plan? Just keep grinding and churning out those yards on the ground and moving the chains? Or what exactly does the team have to do to come out of Youngstown with a W?
We just got to go out there and execute our game plan, whatever it is, if it's passing or running, we just have to finish drives, break tackles, a little more break tackles, better catches, or run a little bit harder, just finish drive, We were just that close against James Madison. We came out second half a little dry. I feel like we got to play all 4 quarters the same way.
So do you think that the team has really put together a complete effort yet this year, or are you still waiting for that? Is the best yet to come for Red Flash football this season?
I feel like the best is yet to come. We we come out strong the first half, and the second half, I feel like we're just right there. Just a little bit more effort, and and just grinding it out, and we can win the game. We can win those big games.
Now, what type of player are you? Do you mention these things to your team? Have you taken on any kind of leadership role? I know you're the FCS rushing leader, but do you see yourself as a leader on the team? Do you want to become a leader? And what do you say to your teammates? Hey, come on, guys, let's go. Let's pick it up in this second half. We can do it. We got to give the effort. Are you one of those type of players, or are you just kind of a sit back, lead by example type player?
I try to be a little bit of both. It depends on how I'm feeling that time. James Matters, I didn't really come out to be a vocal. I just try to go out there and perform and see if we can use my momentum and use it throughout the game. Second half, I feel like I should have spoke up a little bit more. Because our play was down a little bit in the second half, and I feel like I had a lot to do with that because I didn't be vocal in the second half. I wasn't vocal.
Now, I want to step away from football for a second and get a little more on the personal side. I know you're from Cleveland, Ohio, and I want to ask you, how did you find St. Francis out in Cleveland, and what helped you make the decision to sign on in Loretto to play football and be a student athlete at SFU?
Well, actually, it was a last-minute decision. I signed after signing day. Unfortunately, my cousin is a former player for the Red Flash. He graduated from here, and he gave me a call, and he asked me did I have any offers on the table. And I said I have like a few Division II schools and Division III schools that were looking at me, not really Division I. And he gave me a call. He called Coach V, and Coach V called me in on an official visit. I came out here. He liked the film, and they offered me. So my cousin had a lot to do with me signing to St. Francis.
Now, you mentioned that you weren't really heavily recruited at the Division I level, and you're somewhat of an underdog. Do you take pride in that? Does that make what you've been accomplishing feel or taste even sweeter than it would? Do you play with a chip on your shoulder?
Always. My coach told me back in high school, keep that chip on your shoulder, because I went to a small high school, and it was a Division IV. Our divisions go from Division I being the highest, Division VI being the lowest. So Division IV is not a lot of teams or colleges look at us. We get looked over. But I use that as fuel. I'm kind of mad that I didn't go to that bigger school, but I make the best of my situation. I love St. Francis. I love playing for this team. I'm gonna do whatever it takes to help this team win.
And just before we let you go, Khairi, what's the plan for the rest of the day? Do you guys have practice in the afternoon? Do you have any classes left today? What's going on over there on this middle of the week day out in Loretto?
I have one more class rest of the day, then practice, game plan, and get ready to beat Youngstown State.
Sounds good. I like the positive outlook. What class is it?
Human Resource Management.
And what's your major?
Business Management.
One more thing. Looking ahead toward the NEC schedule, I know that's still a few weeks away, but what can you say about this league and the other 6 teams that you'll be going up against? Does it look like it's going to be a pretty tough year?
I see the competition is getting higher. A lot of teams are playing hard this year. I see Brian is out there, playing very tough. I feel like this year is going to be, it's up for grabs. No team has really, has it set in stone yet. So it's going to be a great year.
That's a good point, Khairi. That the NEC title will be up for grabs this year. And as you know, the team that was picked 7th in the preseason poll in 2012 and in 2013, in both years, that 7th place preseason team went on to win the title. And of course, the Red Flash, you guys were picked 7th this year. So I guess you never know, right?
Never know.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, Khairi. I really appreciate you joining us. It's the FCS national rushing leader, Khairi Dickson. He and the Red Flash will take on Youngstown State this Saturday. Thank you for your time, Khairi.
Thank you.
And for the NEC, I'm Ralph Ventre. This was our Week 4 NEC Football Geico Google Hangout. We'll see you next week, folks. Thanks for joining us.